Today's show is brought to you by a former guest, Helix TCS, one of the largest publicly traded non-plant touching cannabis companies in the world, trading on the OTC under ticker symbol HLIX. Their portfolio of industry-leading technology, compliance, and security companies is designed to scale internationally to capitalize on the inevitable proliferation of legal cannabis without the risk and limitations of being a cannabis producer. Record Q2 earnings, driven by their market share leading seed-to-sale tracking software, has positioned Helix TCS as one of the most exciting ancillary companies in the cannabis industry. To learn more about Helix TCS, trading under ticker HLIX, go to helixtcs.com or listen to Raising Cannabis Capital, episode 96.
We definitely have positioned our company as one that is reinventing or renovating the retail experience to be closer to shopping in the comfort of your own home with all the information at your fingertips. And the sort of revolutionary part of this is that it's not a purely digital experience where you just get sucked into a screen, because the actual physical products are the buttons and the levers that you pull and push to trigger the interface.
From MJBulls Media, it's the Raising Cannabis Capital Show. I'm Dan Humiston, and on today's show, how this company's proprietary dispensary technology could ultimately change the way we shop at all retail stores. Today on Raising Cannabis Capital, we are joined by the Peak Beyond, Jeff LaPena and Bill Stark. Guys, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks. Happy to be here.
Thanks for having us.
I'm glad to have both of you guys here, and I have to come clean. I completely misunderstood your company. Completely missed it. Every time I do a show, I spend a few hours trying to learn about the company, so it seems like I know what I'm talking about, even though sometimes I don't. And one mistake that I make all the time is I assume I know what the company does before I really do. And I did it again with your company. I started off thinking that you were like a menu board company. As I'm reading your website, and a lot of words that don't make sense. So I'm like, wait a minute, you got to start over. And I start over and I discovered, oh my God, you are so much more than a menu board company. So let me start off by apologizing. I'm so excited for the listeners to hear what you actually do. Jeff, pretend we are customers at a dispensary. Explain to us how to use your smart displays.
Yeah, absolutely. Our displays work with a kind of tangible element. We're different than menu boards in the fact that we encourage customers to actually interact with products as a way to learn about them. So if you walk up to one of our displays, you'll see some featured products on a shelf next to a digital display. And a customer can pick up one of those products from the featured shelf, put it down next to the digital display, which then pulls up information about that product. So if I'm a customer who's really interested in products that are going to help me relax, this is one way for me to discover those products while they're out in front of me. For anyone that's been in a dispensary before, you know that this is a little bit different than the standard shopping model inside of a dispensary, which is exactly what we're trying to improve upon.
To me, that's great, because I hate it when the clerk comes up to me and wants to talk. I mean, I want to do this by myself. So when I saw this, I was like, yeah, of course, this makes so much sense. You free up the dispensary's bud tenders so that they can do other things. Customer interaction has to increase, because now I can say, oh, what about this product? What does that do? I mean, the benefits of the dispensaries are just obvious. This has the potential of revolutionizing sort of the retail experience, bringing back to life the brick and mortar retail operation.
Yeah, it definitely does. And we definitely have positioned our company as one that is reinventing or renovating the retail experience to be closer to shopping in the comfort of your own home with all the information at your fingertips. And the sort of revolutionary part of this is that it's not a purely digital experience where you just get sucked into a screen, because the actual physical products are the buttons and the levers that you pull and push to trigger the interface. We're really creating an interesting and valuable alchemy between the tangibility of products in a retail environment and a digital interface where they're completely connected and blended in a way that really enhances the consumer experience.
If all these customers are moving products and watching what happens. That information is so valuable to the dispensary, but more importantly, to the brand.
Yeah, industry-wide value as well. There's a lot of transactional data in the cannabis industry, a lot of reporting happening. There's not as much reporting around how people are shopping. And so because we have this digital interface in stores that people use to learn about products, submit orders, we are one of the only companies able to collect that consumer behavior data. So we're able to see what a customer looks at before they make a purchase, or which products they are comparing before they make a purchase. Do they watch a video, and how effective is that video in driving that purchase? And so all of this data is extremely valuable, yes, to those dispensaries, those brands, and industry-wide to kind of get a better understanding of the consumer.
So the brands provide you with the information about their products. When I scan the product, the brand's information comes up. And then from there, I get an opportunity to interact with this information, almost like their website. Is that how it would work?
Yeah, and we also have other content partners. And a lot of the time, the content does come straight from the brand if we're featuring that brand. For the brands, it's a great opportunity to build their relationship with their consumers instead of relying on a bud tender or a consultant in the store. The brands can know, in this case, that exactly the information that they want to get to the consumer is reaching the consumer.
You put together a video and you can tell them, hey, everyone's dropping off at 32 seconds. All right, I need to change something because something at 32 seconds is making these customers drop off my video. That kind of information is invaluable because you can use that in everything you're doing.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh my gosh. I want to take a quick break to thank you for listening to today's show. As the leading cannabis podcast network, we're constantly adding new cannabis podcasts to support our industry's growth. And that's why we're so excited to announce our newest podcast, The Cannabis Breakout, which premieres October 18th. The show is about the thousands of Americans who remain in prison for violating cannabis laws that have long since been overturned. The Cannabis Breakout gives cannabis political prisoners a voice. If you're a former cannabis prisoner or have a loved one who is a cannabis prisoner, we want to share your story. Please go to MJBulls.com and sign up to be a guest. Bill, you got to have the easiest job going. This thing's going to sell itself. Explain the business model, Bill. Tell us, how do you charge dispensaries? How do you charge brands? Can you sell the data?
What we do is we have a typical software as a service model. The brands and dispensaries are charged per display, which scales quickly for affordability. $1,500 activation fee and $500 a month. That would be like for one display. Mm-hmm. And then as the store or the brand scales, the price per display goes down significantly. Yep. Our average smart stores pay around $4,000 a month and have anywhere between 10 and 20 displays.
That's so reasonable because you pay way more than that for having employees. When you add up all the extra costs that are associated with having those employees just wandering the floor, you're saving money at $4,000 a month.
For both of the use cases, we're able to capture the behavioral data. A lot of the brands, that's really what they're paying for is our data reporting. And some of our use cases, we're seeing 300 customers a day on branded displays.
So Dan, I just want to clarify our different offerings. So we do have a brand product and we do have a dispensary product. Those are separate. But really the main thing that our company is focusing on is kind of revolutionizing the dispensary model. And so what that looks like on our side is that we are working with a lot of dispensaries who are new build-outs and they want to transform the entirety of their store. So they're building their entire store around these displays with between 10 and we're about to launch a store with 34 of these displays. So literally the entire shopping experience is based on this method of product discovery. And so I just wanted to make that clear for you.
Yeah, it really is apparent in your website. It's so much clearer to appreciate this when you look at your website and you see how the displays are. They're, it makes a lot more sense. I can see where you're going, and I love the reoccurring revenue. Every month, you just know it's just coming. You can build your budgets around it, and you can plan for it. It's so good. So you have a killer product, and it's in the market. So what's next?
Yeah, so really it's a sales and marketing push. We're opening a new round right now. We want to grow faster than we are. We've got a number of stores kind of opening up in the next coming while, and we want to just accelerate that growth as quickly as we can.
And I suspect there's a lot of upfront costs, and Bill needs people helping him with the sales. And at this phase of your company's life, it's in a very expensive period. What kind of opportunities are there for investors to participate in this growth?
We have a round right now that is just opening up. We're raising $1.5 million. We're shooting somewhere between $11 and $12 million valuation. And we're talking to mostly VC and private equity funds, as well as angel investors. That's
mostly what our audience is. So I think this is one of those deals where, again, it's a non-plant touching investment. So that opens the door for a lot of institutional investors who are starting to come in. I think this is a really good opportunity. We've been speaking with Jeff and Bill from The Peak Beyond, and we'll have all their contact information and investor information on the MJBulls website. Guys, this is a good one. I don't think it's going to be open for very long. Good luck with this.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Today's show was made possible by the generous support of our sponsors, like Alt36, the country's premier blockchain payment processing platform that's providing dispensaries and its customers with a safe and secure payment option other than cash. To learn more, go to alt36.com. Today's podcast was produced by MJBulls Media, the industry's premier cannabis podcast network, with original music produced in part by Jamie Humiston. I'm Dan Humiston, and you've been listening to the Raising Cannabis Capital podcast.